working better starting YouTube horizontal first. So we're gonna keep doing that way. So give me a minute or so to get YouTube vertical going, and we should be able to get the party started momentarily. So I'm gonna push on Wi-Fi. Everything's on Wi-Fi, right? Had some problems the other day, so hopefully we don't have that this time. Okay, so we're gonna go to YouTube. We're gonna be asking a simple question: what the hell are we doing? That's gonna be the question today. And you'll soon understand why. You guys know how the program is ran. We do come with receipts. Today is not going to be any exception to that. So, um, let's see here. All right, select the audience. No, it's not for kids. Want the advanced settings turned on. Got to put in the proper hashtags. Description. Let's see if we can do that here. America, what are we doing? All right. Almost. America, what are we doing? That's what we're going to be talking about. And I'll go ahead and throw the hashtags in and get the show on the road. All right. Everything is where it's supposed to be. All right. Location. Put that in there. All right. Okay. I think everything's good to go. And having said that, we should be to start in less than a minute. Okay. Let's go ahead and see if we can cue it up. Should, all right. Do we start it? All right. Everything looks kosher. We'll go ahead and cue up Clapper. We're going to be on Clapper and we're going to be on Instagram tonight. We'll go ahead and start in 3, 2, 1. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Oh boy, busy day. By the way, it looks like, yesterday we talked about equipment straight here. Yesterday we kind of talked about whether or not we were going to be at war. I think yesterday's show was literally titled, Are We at War? Well, today that probably is going to lend ability to that question as to whether we're at war or not. I'm going to come with receipts as always, but I want you to hear a few other things in addition to whether we're at war or not, and new information has come about. New information has come about since we were last on air. Since we were around last night, more stuff has come out, and just being honest with you, it's not looking good. Now, if you voted, talking to my beloved MAGA, we're talking to MAGA. If you voted for Trump, looks like you may have indeed voted for some sort of military conflict. That looks like that is far more, and I'm going to put emphasis on far more likely to happen than not at this point. They've announced that in addition to closing up embassies in the region, we have 3 aircraft carriers that's in that region now. It costs a fortune to move aircraft carriers around. You don't do that willy-nilly. To put 3 aircraft carriers in one region and considering the fuel and things like that it costs to do that, you don't do that unless it's highly likely that you're going to have a strike, some type of airstrike. Also, we've moved refueling aircraft in the region to refuel our bombers. You're seeing them showing you this, I think it's the B-2, that stealth bomber that they're suggesting that it is the only aircraft that can carry the bomb they're going to use to try to hit the Iranian nuclear program that's 300 feet underground. They're saying that the reactor, what Iran is working on, that they want to take out is buried 300 feet underground. So that's the length of a football field straight down. And it's in a mountain. So this Moab or bunker buster bomb they're talking about using, the bomb itself apparently weighs 30 30,000 pounds. So they're going to drop a piece of ordnance that weighs 30,000 pounds. And we have a few dozen of these. So they're saying that they have the capabilities of dropping one and then dropping another one into the same hole that the first one made. They've indicated that they may have to destroy a mountain to do this. So literally destroying nature to make this happen. But I'm going to give you some clips because it does appear as if, like I said, we're more likely at this point to go to war than not with Iran. And we can speak on what the definition of war is because in my humble opinion, I'm going to assume in all of your opinions as well, we've already went to war. We already are at war. We're just not calling it that. The participation that the U.S. has given in this conflict on behalf of Israel would be considered an act of war if somebody else was participating in a conflict that we were involved in. We're actively shooting down Iranian missiles. We're providing intelligence to the Israelis. If we were at war with somebody and they were doing exactly what we are doing on behalf of Israel on behalf of an enemy of ours, we would consider that an act of war. So we already are at war. The only difference is the Iranians are not jumping the gun and responding to it the way we would. But like I stated, if somebody else was doing what we are doing to the Iranians, to us, we would already have considered that an act of war. So really, we already are at war. But I want you to hear, we come with the clips. I want you to hear this because I am literally, there's a few clips I have tonight and a couple of them are amazing. And you probably have heard one or two of them, but this just came in, which is why I'm saying we are likely more at war or closer to being at war than we ever thought we would have been. This is coming out of CBS News as of yesterday evening.
CBS News White House reporter Aaron Navarro joins us now. Aaron, it's good to see you. What's the latest from President Trump on whether the U.S. will join this conflict between Israel and Iran?
Yeah, Meg, I actually want to start by sharing some reporting that we just got from our colleague James Laporta, who said, according to a senior intelligence source and a Defense Department official, that President Trump approved on Tuesday night of attack plans for Iran, but did not make a final decision in case Iran agreed to abandon its nuclear program. Now, we know from President Trump's remarks to reporters earlier this afternoon in the Oval Office that Trump said that he has not made a final decision yet on if U.S. military involvement will increase to help Israel in their war with Iran. We know he had been considering options of striking Iranian nuclear facilities, including the possible...
Now, you hear what he says. As of yesterday evening, Trump approved plans to attack Iran, but he hasn't given the order to do it because it's pending on whether Iran decides to surrender or not. Well, Iran has made it clear they're not going to surrender. So if you've already approved attacking them and it's only pending on them surrendering, there's a good chance that either tonight or within the next night or two, we're probably going to act. I mean, we're as close as we can ever be to this. We're as close as we can ever be to this. Now, the reason why I'm asking the simple question of what the hell are we doing? Because not long ago, and this is, Trump's intelligence specialist, Tulsi Gabbard. This is Tulsi Gabbard from Trump's intelligence.
Iran's cyber operations and capabilities also present a serious threat to U.S. networks and data. The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003. The IC continues to monitor closely if Tehran decides to reauthorize its nuclear weapons program. In the past year, we've seen an erosion of a decades-long taboo in Iran on discussing nuclear weapons in public, likely emboldening nuclear weapons advocates within Iran's decision-making apparatus. Iran's enriched uranium stockpile is at its highest levels and is unprecedented for a state without nuclear weapons.
Why is she saying that Iran is not trying to develop a nuclear weapon? This is the intelligence director for President Trump, someone he personally appointed. Why is he going around saying they're developing a nuclear weapon and his own intelligence director is saying they're not? As I stated, what the hell are we doing? I mean, this is his own entity, his own department is clashing with what he is saying. Now, he was questioned in regards to this. He was asked a question in regards to what Tulsi Gabbard just stated. Here is the answer that he gave.
There we go, Max. It's called Max time.
So you always said that you don't believe Iran should be able to have a nuclear weapon, but how close do you personally think that they were to getting one? Because Tulsi Gabbard testified in March that the intelligence community said Iran wasn't building a nuclear weapon.
What she said, I think they were very close to having one.
Now,
It's beautiful.
there was a brief exchange. You may have not been able to hear it over the roar of the engines on Air Force One, but the reporter asked, in March, Tulsi Gabbard said they're not developing a nuclear weapon, which is what I played you before this. And, Trump responded by saying, I don't care what she said. I believe they're pretty close to getting a weapon. So the obvious question is going to be, if you don't trust your director of intelligence, why the hell is she there? Why is she even in the position if you're not going to trust what she is telling you? So, and that's what I don't understand. I want you guys to, hopefully somebody can clear that up, but why give Tulsi Gabbard the job if when she does the job, you're going to say, I don't give a, what did he literally said, I don't care what she says. Then why is she there? Why have an advisor that you don't care what she says? By the way, this is where Congress needs to step up. Why is the president and his intelligence director doing a 180 on whether Iran is developing a nuclear bomb? Congress needs to step in. This is where you hold an investigation. Both Tulsi and Trump should have to prove why they are saying what they are saying. Tulsi Gabbard should give evidence to why she is, from whatever investigation she's come to suggest they're not developing a nuclear weapon. And damn it, Trump needs to provide evidence to why he's saying they are. Now, I know, we all know Trump is allowed to say a hell of a lot of things, from the 2020 election was stolen to people are eating cats and dogs without ever providing proof. So my guess is the right is not going to demand Trump show any proof of what he said at all, and they're probably going to discount Tulsi Gabbard the way he just did. But that makes no sense, and we'll talk about that as the program goes along. But before we start taking calls, I do have a couple other things, and this is all in regards to what's going on right now, all in regards to that. But many of you have probably seen this already. This is Ted Cruz, Senator Ted Cruz of Texas. This has made the rounds. It's went viral. I'm going to play the video that went viral, but this is not the video we're going to be mainly talking about. There's another one. There's another one that should have went more viral than this one, but this is Tucker Carlson literally turning Senator Ted Cruz to smithereens.
Living around, by the way. I don't know the population at all. No, I don't know the population. You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple? How many people live in Iran? 92 million. Okay. Yeah. How could you not know that? It's not even. You don't know anything about Iran. So
okay, I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran.
You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government.
You're the one who claims
about the country.
No, you don't know anything about the country. You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump.
I'm not saying that.
Tulsi Gabbard makes a really good point by stating, you want to topple this country, but you don't even know the simple demographics or even the population that exists in the country. And I'm sure many of you heard that already. And he also got Ted Cruz to admit that we're helping the Israelis. And then Ted Cruz was forced to backtrack. And I should have had a better portion of that clip to bring up. But that's not what I'm here to discuss. In that interview with Ted Cruz, between Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson, there was something that I believe is even far more damning. But before I go to that, Real Talk says, hey, MAGA, are we still using the slogan, no new wars? Or are we waiting for the excuse, think tank to finish? MAGA ain't shit, says Real Talk. And so he is asking indeed, is MAGA still using that slogan, no new wars? Or are you waiting for the excuse, think tank to finish? My guess is it's probably the latter. The no new wars thing seems to be outdated at this point. I want you to hear this, though. In addition to what you just heard with Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz, the exchange back and forth, this one is not making as much news. It did not go as viral But in my opinion, it absolutely should have, because this one, once again featuring Ted Cruz, is probably more dangerous.
Growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of, it says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my... You pull out the phone and use the...
It's in Genesis. So you're quoting a Bible phrase you don't have context for and you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology? I'm confused. What does that even mean?
Tucker.
I'm a Christian. I want to know what you're talking about.
Hey, where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two...
Hold on. Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel. And
what does that mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But what? Hold on. Define Israel. This is important. Are you kidding? This is a majority Christian country.
Define Israel? Do you not know what Israel is? That would be the country you've asked like 49 questions about.
So that's what Genesis, that's what God is talking about.
The nation of Israel, yes.
So is that the current borders, the current leadership? He's talking about the political entity called Israel?
He's talking about the nation of Israel. Yeah, nations exist, and he's discussing a nation. A nation was the people of Israel.
Is the nation
They're the descendants of Abraham.
Okay, what the fuck is that? I'm going to be simple. What the fuck is that? If you take Ted Cruz's language and you replace the Bible with the Quran, and you replace Israel with Mecca, he sounds like a fucking Islamic extremist. He literally is talking just like an Islamic extremist. He could be ISIS for God's sakes. He literally sounds like an Islamic extremist. He's using religion to go to war. All he needs to yell out is Allahu Akbar, as opposed to God bless America. He is literally sounding like an Islamic extremist. Why the hell is he in the Senate? Why the hell isn't MAGA? Isn't the Republican Party more critical of that? That should be all over the news, that he literally is talking about the Bible says that we will be blessed by defending Israel. What's in that? 72 fucking versions? What's the difference? What is the difference? This is what we're going to talk about today, folks. I cannot believe an actual sitting senator is quoting scripture as a reason to go to war and defend the nation. But you hear it right there. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and start the program. I'm very disappointed to start. I wasn't a Ted Cruz fan to begin with, but damn, did Tucker Carlson really turned him upside down and shook every coin out of his pocket. I mean, this is horrible. Why is he a sitting senator talking like that? I mean, what's the difference between him and some liberal defending Palestine or Hamas or something like that? He's talking about going to war in the name of God. Why does he get a pass? So we're going to talk about that. As always, you guys know how the program is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor. I'd be curious to speak to some MAGA, because I certainly want to hear from you folks on this as well. I know I got a lot of evangelicals and Christians on the program, but he's talking about God. I was shocked to hear it. It really threw me back just to even hear something like that. So anyway, you know how the program is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor any damn body. We go left of Bernie Sanders to him having dinner with Q. If you favor that type of dialogue before we start the program, I'll ask that you follow the program if you're watching on TikTok or Instagram, and if you're Clapper tonight. And if you're watching on YouTube, give your boy a subscription. We're here generally Monday through Friday. And by the way, news just came in once again, another case of an inept Congress who passed a law that we were supposed to be getting rid of TikTok at the end of last year. Trump just announced today, because we were supposed to lose TikTok as of tomorrow, he just extended it for 90 more days. I don't understand how the hell Congress passes a law. Trump says, fuck the law, and we're just going to keep doing this. I'm happy to be on TikTok. Listen, I enjoy speaking to you folks. I enjoy the criticism. I enjoy the compliments. But fact is, he's just basically saying fuck Congress. So looking in the comments, he don't get a pass as far as I'm concerned, says Sally Ashworth. Are you hearing anything about it on right-wing media, though? You're hearing about how the liberals kept secret that Biden's cognitive dissonance was falling. Are you hearing them saying anything about the fact that we got a sitting senator that's actually using religion as a reason whether to support a war or not? Are you hearing anything on the right-wing channels, Fox, Newsmax, OAN, Patriot Radio? Going to the box, we'll start out with, I don't know what I just hit there, but we'll go straight to the box. Michael, good evening, Mike. A sitting senator using religion. What say you, Mike? Good evening.
This is a fucking cartoon, man. This is so crazy. If it wasn't, I'm only laughing to keep from crying because this shit is absurd.
Yeah, you'll be.
These casts, we're in the cacostocracy. I told you that. This is Tim. We're going down past even. I didn't think we'd be going down so fast.
Yeah, I can't believe that. I cannot believe what Ted Cruz did. There is not major news floating around everywhere.
Well, because you know the right's not going to show it. They're just going to make excuses for it.
Right? What kind of, something, to be honest with you, what excuse could you make for that? I'm dying to talk to some MAGA tonight, but what kind of excuse could you make for something like that?
Well, I wouldn't, but I'm pretty sure if MAGA Reacts is in the room, he's going to Daffy Duck his way through some fucking excuse. He's going to Bugs Bunny his way through some, yeah, he's going to Porky Pig his way through some shit tonight.
Yeah, I mean,
let me say this, Tim. Keep in mind, Donald Trump's administration is trying to deport students for protesting Palestine or whatever, and we got a senator. Making comments like that.
Yeah. I don't see any difference between him and an Islamic fundamentalist. I mean, he's just doing it in the name of Christianity versus Islam. I mean, that's exactly how they talk. He's doing the same thing.
It is. But you know what, though, Tim? Here's the thing. The only reason we're just seeing this now is because Biden won. Biden interrupted Trump's first term. Yeah. If he had won that second term back to back, we'd have been talking about this 4 years ago.
I wish
all he did was interrupt their plans.
I gotta say though, I wonder what else is. I mean, when Tucker Carlson, like I said, he turned him upside down and shook all the coins out of his pocket. I gotta wonder what else has Ted Cruz been saying that the right has been keeping under wraps, because that was pretty bad. I mean, I don't know. I can't think of, we can talk about Ilhan Omar and we can talk about Maxine Waters and some of the shit coming from the left. I don't know anything that's as bad as that.
Well, you know what, Tim? They'll say anything. They'll say and do anything. And they say it and do it because they know that there's really no retribution. Except for Tulsi Gabbard. Her ass is going to be gone here in a second.
Yeah, what about that? The fact that she said in March that the Iranians are not developing a nuclear weapon, and then Trump says, I don't give a damn what she says. With her being a director of intelligence, how does that work? How do you have a director of intelligence that is still serving in a position, and you're saying you don't give a damn what they say?
Well, who is Iran's strongest ally?
Well, we know they're dealing with oil with China.
Yeah, and who are they providing weapons to right now?
Oh shit! They provided weapons to the Houthis. They provided weapons to Hamas.
Russia.
Yeah, another one. Yeah.
Russia.
Yeah.
And so
Russia. Russia released a statement warning us against attacking them.
Correct, but who has she been tied to?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Who was
Tulsi Gabbard was speaking on behalf of Russia, just like Tucker Carlson.
Right. So it would be in their best interest to say there's nothing there because this conflict does not help Russia.
So what do we have? A whole administration full of fucking liars?
I done told you. Why are you looking in the camera surprised? Listen. Think about what I just said. Now, all of this stuff is tied together. Trump stopped the Iran nuclear deal right after Obama's administration.
Right.
And if you go look at the data, you'll see where the enrichment was going down underneath that deal. Trump got rid of that Obama's agreement, and it was going back up. But now you got Tulsi, who was tied over there to Russia, saying it ain't there. And Trump saying, I don't care what she thinks.
So but wait a minute. Though you know the liberals have been claiming that Trump and Putin are best friends. So if Putin doesn't want us to attack Iran, and Trump and the liberals are claiming that the Russians are Trump's best friend, then Trump should be not. Trump should be avoiding a conflict with Iran, should he not? Unless the liberals are wrong.
Well, I told you he's the prostitute in chief, and he's not loyal to anyone. I've been telling you that since we met. He's not loyal to anyone. Number one, because see, what people fail to realize, whether it's Putin, whether it's Netanyahu, he's on transactional, Tim. He's transactional.
I don't disagree with that. He is transactional, but so in other words, Trump has loyalty to no one basically. Anybody is expendable.
No. Well, okay. He literally just said, I don't care what Gabbard just said, right? He literally just said that.
Yeah.
She'll be in the doghouse by this time next week.
So now you're predicting that Trump and Tulsi Gabbard will fall out.
100%. He's going to fall out with all of them, Tim. This is what he does. This is what he does. He will. Listen, I had this debate earlier with the MAGA supporter, and I said, well, just show me where I'm wrong. Show me where he has a long-term allegiance with somebody.
It's a good point.
Show me.
That's a good. Well, he had a long-term allegiance with Michael Cohen, but that ended a few years back. So he had a 20-year allegiance with that guy.
And even that ended as soon as the shit hit the fan. Then he didn't know who the hell he was. But in all seriousness, at the end of the day, he's a narcissist. I mean, he came out and said he would unalive another leader of a country.
Yeah, and that's against the law. President Ford, during the Ford administration, we entered in an agreement that we would not threaten or assassinate heads of state. And, well, he took out Soleimani. I mean, he wasn't a head of state, but he was a pretty high. I mean, he's threatened people by sending them pictures of their houses. I mean, Trump has kind of went around that from day one.
Right. But listen, I told you he runs this like a business. I just told you just yesterday. So now he's an agent of chaos. Everything is all over the place. And let me be clear. All those, Trump is a user and the people that he picked are users, right? So everybody has their own agenda. Everybody's running around. I'm gonna tell you this, and this is my theory. They've got a sugar booger problem at the White House.
What the hell is a sugar booger problem? Explain that.
They got a powder problem. They got a powder problem.
Are you talking about like coke?
Yes, sir.
I thought Hunter Biden was gone.
That's what they said, exactly. Listen, you got Pete. Let me ask you this: if Pete Hegseth has a drinking problem, and he has had a drinking problem,
okay,
right? What do you think the stress of this moment is going to do, Tim?
You're telling me that Hegseth might be so stressed out that he might, what do they call it, relapse?
Yeah. What's going on with Chrissy Nolan being in the hospital? What's going on with Tulsi Gabbard and her and Trump? Dude, this is a shit show on the world stage. And they're saying, Cowgirl had in the past. Well, he was drinking as soon as he came into the office about a week after. After he got confirmed, he was on the
Allegedly. I saw the drink when he was at the summit or whatever. We saw.
What do you think it was, Tim?
He could have been apple
What
juice.
do you think it was?
It could have.
Okay, it could have been apple juice. Okay. So listen, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we saw that. Cowgirl, what are you talking about? See, this is the thing. It is getting to the point right now where everything is the opposite of reality. Like, we are threatening to do this, but Trump created this problem.
Well, let me ask you this though, because I had MAGA Reacts and Jeremy and some of my MAGA viewers on yesterday. They're starting to show cracks. I mean, MAGA Reacts said he's down to the point. I asked him the question, what letter grade would you get Trump so far? They're barely giving Trump a B. I mean, I think MAGA Reacts is starting to talk like a C minus. So some MAGA voters, and this is the first I've seen, because most of the black MAGA I talk to outside of this live, they still support Trump. But I am starting for the first time to see some cracks among MAGA, particularly with this war.
100%. It's happening. Matter of fact, today Pete Hegseth turned over the Iran plans to a single star general or a general, which is unprecedented, right? But it's supposed to be his job to handle these. He just turned it over to a general today. You hear that?
No, I haven't heard that.
So any Iran plans for conflict, Pete has turned it over to a general. It's his job.
Because he felt the general might be a little bit more knowledgeable.
He might be a little bit. What he said, qualified?
Yeah.
Are we talking about qualification, Tim? It is true, April. Just look it up. Just Google it. Just Google
I haven't heard that, but if it is true, I'm going to say, even though it's Pete Hegseth's job, I will applaud Pete Hegseth for realizing he's in over his head. That's the problem of Trump, is that Trump makes decisions and does not refer to people who might be more intelligent. If Hegseth, who has the job, decided, let me go consult with somebody else that's more knowledgeable, I can't hate on a man for doing that.
Consulting is one thing, but he's supposed to own the responsibility.
Bro, he's going to get the responsibility no matter what.
Well, listen, look, hey, they put him in there. Hey, you got to lie. Hey, you got to lie with them fleas. It is what it is. And all you got to do is go look it up. All you got to do is Google Iran, and if Pete has it'll pop right up. I mean, at the end of the day, look at where we are. We're on the brink of WW3, which they were supposed to be saying no new wars, no new conflicts, right? And every time we talk, and we do this 2-3 times a week, is something new going the opposite.
But is it 100% the fault of the Trump administration? Liberal annihilation is beautiful. Friend of the program, he's pretty critical. When he says fuck Obama, it's all his fault for giving all that money to Iran. How do you respond to somebody who says that?
Okay, first of all, and they always say that, but what they fail to realize is when back in, I think it was 2011, when Iran had bought all of that military equipment from us, and they never got it.
Yeah.
They bought all that military equipment from us, and they never got it. What he did is he released their funds. That was one. And then the second time when he released the funds, they were sanctions and they had frozen their assets. And he gave them their assets based on them signing that Iran nuclear deal. So it was their money to begin with.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing. It was their money to begin with. Now, you can say, well, we gave them, but again, he's doing, here's the thing. This presidency is unprecedented. We haven't seen anything like
Oh,
this.
no shit. Trump does a lot more than the average person, but sometimes it can be chaotic.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the comments, and I normally don't do that. Yes, Cowgirl, if they paid for something and we never gave them what they paid for, we gave them their money back. So, yes, that's kind of how it works. Because when you're negotiating, he's supposed to be the negotiator.
Let me just say it as clear as possible. The money that Iran received during the Obama administration was not U.S. tax dollars. It was money of theirs that we had seized. So people went, well, you could have done all this and this and this with that money. It wasn't our money. It was money that we seized from them.
Now, but you know that, right, Jim?
Yeah.
So, you know what, and I know it, we're not the smartest, we're not the sharpest tools in every damn shed. The people in the comments, the people that are listening, instead of just looking at the headlines, just go do a little research and you'll see. But at the end of the day, and I told you this the other night, and I'm going to say it again before you drop me down, either Trump is the pillar of strength that they said he was. They said Trump is the only one. I picked Trump because